Good evening. When I was in college, as many people do, I smoked pot. I smoked a lot of pot. It was probably the rebellion from my rather strict upper middle class West Houston upbringing, or the fact that I was now free to do whatever the fuck I wanted. And even though I had smoked my fair share of pot in high school, coming to college and realizing that I could smoke all day, all night, whenever I felt like it, was truly liberating. I found myself often blowing off class to go on a drive, sitting around watching something ridiculous like Half Baked on repeat and just giggling, or even attempting to make hash from pot leaves that our buddy's dad had given us from his pot farm, because that's normal. I went to college in upstate South Carolina, about 40 minutes from Asheville, North Carolina, highly regarded as the Austin or Berkeley of the Southeast, a place where you could practically see the clouds of smoke rising above the organic co-ops and microbreweries as you approached town. We spent most weekends up there hanging out with the hippies, admiring their drum circles, buying their space cakes, you know? Anyways, back in South Carolina, I began slowly morphing into the complete and utter stereotype of a college stoner that I was destined for. I wore patchwork pants, started collecting ironic t-shirts. I frequently went to the local head shop to stare at pipes and maybe buy a cute little jar to hold my nugs. I had tie-dye tapestries adorning the walls of my dorm and a black light that shined on my Led Zeppelin poster. I wore a fucking hemp necklace with a glass bead in the middle. Nag Champa was always burning, and I kept a fresh bottle of Golden Steel in my cabinet just in case. I saw widespread panic and Fish probably 50 times combined, not to mention bands like Disco Biscuits, Umphreys, Government Mule, and Sound Tribe. I went to 3 Bonnaroos. Drove to upstate New York for a Mo, Festival, Wisconsin for a bluegrass festival, Northern California for an underground hip-hop festival. I even spent an entire summer touring with the string cheese incident. Needless to say, the stoner lifestyle was pretty important to me, and so the final step to my ultimate transformation was dreadlocks. For my whole life, my hair had been smooth, thick, and curly, with a nice shine. I often got compliments about how nice my hair felt, how good it looked, that it always smelled clean. But as I started really getting high a lot, it's as if my hair said, shit. We're too fucked up to do what we're supposed to. And it started to get coarse, dull, and unruly, and began to form a very large afro. Perfect! I must have thought, though I hardly remember thinking about much other than weed and music those days, it'll be a piece of cake to turn this shit into dreadlocks. All I have to do is not wash it and just twist it around. For the next 3 months, yes, 3 months, I didn't wash my hair. I mean, I'm not that much of a crazy person, so I did use that powdered shampoo because seriously, I still had to be in public, and I wasn't a homeless person. Slowly, a little dread here, a weird misshapen clump there started to form. Encouragement from my already dreaded jam band lot friends kept me going, but I started to try and imagine doing this for another few months, years, decades. How do I get my hair to be as long and beautifully nappy as other people's? It just wasn't happening for me in the time I thought it would take. And as each day passed, my patience grew slightly thinner. But I persevered. One day, in an attempt to make up for missing a few classes and realizing that I had midterms coming up, I trekked across campus to the library. It was a really beautiful spring morning. As I passed by a few of the school's famous fountains, smiling at the ducks and thinking how lucky I was to go to school in such a pretty place, when from a distance I hear a shriek, a bird-like shriek, the kind that signaled trouble. It shrieked again, but this time it was closer. I'm now standing in the middle of the quad in front of the library, where hundreds of people were milling about, chatting and smoking cigarettes. And as I looked up, I saw coming directly for me the largest and most ferocious owl I have ever seen. Its wingspan must have been over 5 feet long, its piercing yellow and black eyes staring deep into my soul. Stunned, I stood there, helpless. Then, as if straight out of one of those Discovery Channel animal documentaries that I like to get high and watch, it swooped down and its enormous talons grabbed onto a chunk of my half-dreaded locks and did not let go. Wings flapping, arms flailing, shrieks and screams as I fell to the ground, and with the help of a fellow student who had seen the entire situation unfold, forcibly pulled the evil beast off of my head, ripping out one of my few precious dreads, which it proudly flew off with, hooting ferociously with its rabid owl voice as it disappeared into the air. That night, I shaved my head. I had learned a valuable lesson. Dreadlocks look like tiny rats. Thank you.